And we are back, and we just finished watching 2022's The Lost City, rated PG-13 with a runtime of 1 hour and 52 minutes. This was directed by Adam and Aaron Nee, with writing credits to Oren Uziel, Dana Fox, and Adam Nee. We saw this on Epix on demand.
Yeah.
But it's
currently playing on Epix.
It's currently playing on Epix. I think it's still in the theater, but it's also in other platforms. I think it's at Paramount Plus or whatever.
Was it ever in the theater?
I think it's still in the theater.
I thought this was
didn't this just come out like a month or so ago?
I thought it was a direct release to streaming.
I don't think so.
I could be wrong.
According to Google, yeah, I think it's still in theaters.
All right.
It came out March 25th.
All right.
Yes, it's on Sling TV with a premium subscription, Amazon Prime Premium, Paramount Plus, just a regular subscription, or Philo premium subscription, or to rent on YouTube for $20.
Or you can watch it on Epix.
You can watch it on Epix.
Currently on Epix.
It's currently on Epix on demand. This is the story of, what the hell was her name? Loretta
something or other.
Sage, right? Played by the always fun to watch Sandra Bullock, who is a romance novelist who is forced out of her, I guess, self-imposed exile after the death 5 years prior of her husband. Her book publisher, Beth, who's also a friend and is played by the lovely divine Joy Randolph, I guess forces her to get on this book tour and rejoin life. Along the way, she's a romance novelist who has created a character named Dash, who's modeled by a young man named Alan, played by Channing Tatum, and they're at this book tour, and things go horribly, horribly wrong. And then Loretta finds herself kidnapped by Abigail Fairfax, played by the always lovely and talented Daniel Radcliffe, who is trying to get his hands on, what was it called? The Red
Crown of Fire, I think it was called.
Crown of Fire, yes. Yes, this is very reminiscent of like Romancing the Stone type. You have this couple that has a lot of banter in the beginning, although it seemed pretty clear that Alan liked Loretta from the start.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I mean, well, in the beginning, you just view him as like this sort of like, man candy airhead guy who's like, when he comes out, he comes out on stage to the final countdown and he starts doing like Elvis style karate moves on stage, and he's got
this long,
the blousy white shirt buttoned up to his belly button, blonde hair. He's basically Fabio.
Yeah.
Although I doubt young people know who the hell Fabio is anymore.
But Alan has been her cover model for the last 20 books. So
$20?
20 books.
20 books.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And the fan base is pretty rabid, which is pretty hilarious.
All the women want is for Alan to take his shirt off.
Yeah.
That's it.
They just objectify this
and
young
the thing
man.
I found funny is it's like a book tour, and they surprise Loretta by having Alan show up. And she's uncomfortable to begin with because she doesn't really like dealing with people. And so they're adding Alan to like add a little sizzle to the proceedings, and
it is just very
it's just all about Alan. First of all, she sort of like writes these novels begrudgingly, because she's more interested in the archaeology and the cultures and the ancient history. And she said that she tried to get books like that written, but nobody gives a crap. So she just threw a whole bunch of sex in them, and suddenly they're like best-selling romance novels.
Right.
And it was funny when we're on the stage, and like the host is like, he's like, "Oh, so we're all excited about this book. I read it and it's great." And Alan actually says, "Oh, thank you."
That was hilarious.
Like he had anything to do with it other than take a picture for the cover of the book. But I mean, even though he does come off that way in the beginning, you find out that he really does have genuine feelings for Loretta.
Yes.
And he sees she's in trouble, and he wants to rescue her.
And be the one that says,
he wants to be,
You're safe now.
You're safe now.
I'm just going to jump ahead. My favorite line in this film, my favorite line in this film is, "Why are you so handsome? My father was a weatherman." That is Very good writing.
I thought it was okay. I gotta be honest.
You know what? For the stuff that we've been watching lately, I think as far as romantic comedies go, this is definitely a romantic comedy with like a little bit of adventure.
I mean, follow to a T the Romancing the Stone model.
Yeah.
Which really hasn't been
as much.
You don't get a lot
No.
in that sort of, genre. And that's probably a good thing because, I mean, it's a romance novelist going on a swashbuckling adventure with a person who's like a hero in a romance novel.
Yeah.
And although Alan isn't a hero from like the real life Alan is not the romance hero.
Right. Jack Traynor was.
Traynor was played by Brad Pitt. But he's not the guy who saves the day at the end of the story. Well, maybe I shouldn't say that as spoilers. But, it's sort of like it jumps out of that convention.
Right. But ultimately, he becomes the thing that she needs. I really there was 2 scenes where he basically kind of like calms her. It's just like, I need you to take a deep breath.
Yeah. Do you smell that?
Do you smell that? Yeah. So I think that, yes, she was still, I mean, a lot of the film harkened back to her the loss of her husband. The treasure also mirrors that particular story.
Yeah.
Which is devastating. I mean, I'm watching it and I was like, I never want to be in that position. So I can imagine what that feels like. And that feels organic, that you would just close yourself off to people, to experiences, that you just don't even leave the house. And it's not like she had children to kind of not pass the time, but to occupy her time.
Yeah, and to the film's credit, I mean, this is a comedy, so they don't really dwell too much on it. It's the facts,
right? But it is an undercurrent throughout the film.
It is something. Sadness. It is a bit of undercurrent. It's definitely a part of her whole character arc, but it's not. The film can't let itself be bogged down on something so dour. I mean,
right. Well, it is
a comedy.
Yes, but you also have the time lapse, right? It's been 5 years since the death of her husband, and not that she would ever truly maybe forget him, but it's almost like we're going to spoil this, obviously, but towards the end when she gets rid of her wedding ring that she's been wearing.
Yeah.
It's almost like she's saying goodbye and giving herself permission to live again because
I mean, and plus that was like a perfect place to do it considering that was their dream. This whole thing, she's basically living their dream. Yeah. He can't be there with her, but she's honoring him through at the end there. He's not forgotten.
Right. I thought the writing was decent. I think in relation to other things that we've seen recently,
I feel like they were trying to make it a little bit like Paul Feig-ish, like his sort of like comedy and writing, but it just wasn't up to that level.
No, but I think that these guys, I mean, I don't know who they are. I'm assuming they're like first time or really new filmmakers. I've never heard of them, but I think they're going in the right direction. I mean, I think for what this film is, again, romantic comedy with a little bit of action adventure, I thought it ticked all the boxes. The leads were great. They had good chemistry. That sometimes can like kill a film, but both leads had great chemistry, and even like the supporting characters. Brad Pitt does like a really great performance here, and he's not on the screen very much.
No, he
knocks it out of the park.
Excellent in what he does.
He knocks it out of the park. Oscar knocks it out of the park. Her friend Beth, the publisher, knocks it out of the park. And let's not forget Daniel Radcliffe, who's sort of the villain here, twirling his mustache. Very exaggerated, very stereotypical, right? In the sense of like that kind of villain. Here's a guy who, first world problems. I mean, he's the heir of some billionaire media family, right? So, but he needs to prove himself. So he's almost like a child in this quest, right? I need this. Why? Why do you need this? Right. And then when he finally gets to where he is supposed to go, it didn't pan out for him. So he's like a baby with a spanked ass, right? So now he's just PO'd, and he's going to literally put these two human beings in this thing to die.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I thought everything in this was just okay. I'm not going to say this was a bad movie. I'm just saying this really wasn't my favorite. There were some chuckles, but the comedy really didn't hit that hard for me. I never laughed out loud. I never was like, oh my God, I can't believe what I'm seeing.
Right.
I really do feel like they were trying to go for like a Paul Feig thing with some of the humor seemed like improvisational maybe, where they would just like try and say lines that try and like say something funny about the situation, and that it felt like that a bit to me in certain scenes, like with the leeches and things like that.
Okay. I could see, I think that's great. Like, that's a really great pickup. I think Paul Feig, yeah, absolutely. I think I completely 100% agree with you, because a lot of it was supposed to be sort of like that naughty humor too.
That was like another thing that
I stop short because we want to get a PG-13 to get a wider net audience.
That was another thing about it. I feel like they took steps in certain directions, but they were afraid to go fully into it. And then there were like certain aspects where you're just like trainers, and that was a bit weird, a bit jarring. And then there's like the step back on that.
Yeah.
And it's just sort of like, okay, I don't know what was happening there, but it was sort of like
not necessary for sure.
Not necessary, but also like we're afraid to go there. We're afraid to go there, or we're being purposely held back, and we want that PG-13 rating.
Or it could be, if this does well enough and we get a sequel, we can bring back. Yeah,
there's that. I just feel like it felt like they were playing it a bit too safe.
Yes.
With this sort of thing.
Agreed. But still, I mean, I thought entertaining. It wasn't Spy. Oh my God.
No. Like that is probably the best thing he's ever done.
Yeah.
Paul Feig.
Yeah.
And that's
a classic.
That's just brilliant.
Jesus, yeah.
And the Heat is great too.
I liked Girl Ghostbuster. God damn it. I hate America for not getting on board with that.
I like the Girls Ghostbusters version too. Well, we're not talking about his movies right now. What are we doing? But
we're talking about
in
the Lost City.
I feel like there was a bit of, let's go in that direction, and maybe they wanted to, and maybe they were held back, or maybe they just didn't have the skill to pull that off. I don't know. It just felt like, to me, it felt like there was like a half step in this movie that wasn't being taken, and I don't know. It felt a little. It fell a little short for me. I'm not saying it was bad. Everybody did a great job. As far as the chemistry between the two leads, I thought it was okay. I didn't really think it was like that amazing.
Well, no, not amazing, but it was decent.
We also watched The Proposal, and the chemistry there I felt was better.
Yeah,
it wasn't terrible. It wasn't like Ghost Rider, Eva Mendes, Nick Cage chemistry, which was just,
or Natalie Portman, Hayden Christensen.
Yeah. I mean that wasn't even their fault. That was just George Lucas.
Still,
less emotion.
Still,
like, come on.
That was painful to watch. Those two.
Sometimes you watch. Yeah, exactly. Sometimes you watch two actors trying to convey love, and it's just like, it ain't working. Yeah. You clearly, there's something wrong here. and that funny thing is, like, sometimes actors and actresses, or they don't get along, and like they still can convey good chemistry.
Apparently in The Notebook, Ryan Gosling and Rachel McAdams didn't get along, which is amazing because you couldn't tell. And then they started dating. Go figure.
Well, I mean, like that. I mean,
Deborah Winger.
I'm not even talking about like romantic chemistry, but like just working with each other and seeing like the characters develop respect. Like Mad Max Fury Road. Apparently, yes. Theron and Hardy despised each other.
Yeah.
And they were great together.
Yeah.
They were absolutely great together. That's the mark of two good actors putting that chemistry together. And I'm not saying Bullock and Tatum.
Channing Tatum.
I'm not saying that they're bad actors. I'm just saying that I don't know. There was just I could see like them being friends. I don't know.
Their chemistry was better than Rob Pattinson and Kristen Stewart in those Twilight movies.
Probably.
How many times have we seen that second part ending?
We've seen the ending, but I mean, I don't think they even interact in that scene. In that, and the only reason why you watch that fragment of that movie is for Michael Sheen,
who is just
brilliant. Yeah. I love Michael Sheen.
He is committed to that role.
Yeah, in those Twilight movies. His whole little gang, well, him and that guy who's like, when he gets killed, he's like, "Oh, thank you."
Yeah, that old guy.
Like, it's so terrible. Oh my God, those films are such garbage.
And yet
every time that snowbound scene is on,
we stop and watch it.
I stop and watch it because it's just
so over the top.
It's so stupid. And like Michael Sheen with his face, he's like, "Eee." His eyes are bugged out, and he's got that goofy smile and that stupid haircut, and he's like dressed like he's leading a marching band. What is going on?
I don't know.
That's how vampires.
You know what? We could say all we want. Those damn movies generated way too much money.
Oh my God, so much.
So much.
Anyway, we're off on another tangent. What's your number? There's really not a whole lot to analyze in this movie. So, all
right, fair enough. But okay, so just out of curiosity, what are your notes? What would have made this better?
Just really not being afraid to go all in on the kind of naughty comedy. I mean, okay. Yeah, just say screw it. All right, we're gonna get an R rating for the language, for the risque humor. I mean, you could see they were trying to go for it, and like the scene where he was like he pulls his pants down and like I don't even know what the hell she said about his junk. It was like,
oh yeah, she kept going on, which was weird.
She had some weird like
little speech
with like a lot of $5 words, and I'm like, is that supposed to be funny?
Yeah, yeah, that was kind of misplaced. Yeah,
I guess better. You could have had a ton of fun with that, especially with them improvising and just saying the dirtiest things they could possibly think of.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, they should have gone more.
They could have gone just full bore into the comedy. I'm guessing they didn't want an R rating.
Yeah. But, although PG-13, it's like, who's going to see a Sandra Bullock Channing Tatum movie? Probably older audiences, so you should have just gone for the R.
Yeah, I mean,
Channing Tatum's, I guess, sort of young, but he's still a different demographic.
Yeah, seriously, all the girls that were like swooning over freaking Channing Tatum are in their freaking 30s now,
or 40s,
or 50s,
or
50s. Yeah,
yeah.
It's not like he's the new.
He's not Timothy Chalamet, right?
Yeah,
he's a completely different generation.
You could probably fit like 3 Timothy Chalamets inside of Channing Tatum's body.
Oh my God,
that guy needs a sandwich.
Timothy, if you're out there, you have an open invitation to dinner. We'll fatten you up.
Eat nothing but peanut butter for like a month.
So better, a little tighter on the script. I thought the story itself was interesting and fun. I loved the cartoon villainous of Harry Potter.
He was entertaining.
He's always so good.
Yeah, Daniel Radcliffe
has just really amazing.
He's really good, fun to watch. And the thing that's funny is he probably never has to work another day in his life.
No,
I mean.
He just does stuff because he wants to.
Seriously, he could do nothing, and his face would still be plastered on a ton of stuff.
Yeah,
and so he's free to just do all sorts of random projects.
Yeah,
like he's done that action movie. He's done
Guns Akimbo, which we just saw. Yeah,
comedy, whatever, and he generally does a good job.
He's
convincing. He's entertaining.
Interesting little actor to watch.
In this, he was good. He played like this. He wasn't I wouldn't say he was over the top. He was just a rich guy with a chip on his shoulder about the fact that his little brother surpassed him and was trying to do this other thing.
And I loved his I don't remember the line, but I loved his like sort of defense of his name.
Oh, yes.
It's like gender neutral.
I'm like,
Abigail is not gender neutral. That's a girl's name.
I'm sure there's a couple of Abigails out there.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Right
crazy
now,
Brits.
just furiously typing in the comment section.
So, number from 1 to 10, what would you give it?
I'd give this a 5. This is just average to me.
5. I thought it was a little bit better than average. I thought. I mean, it wasn't. Who's had good chemistry? It wasn't like Mark Ruffalo and Jennifer Garner in 13 Going on 30.
Yeah, and that was super sweet. They didn't need to go for any sort of R rating. That was like a PG-13 romantic comedy.
Yeah, but the writing was stronger.
But the writing was stronger. I think they handled that subject matter better. This one, I feel like they could have handled the subject matter better. Her loss and her basically the publicist trying to get her out there and whatnot, and you could have left the goofy stuff to the what was that? What was Beth, her title? The internet publicist.
What was her name?
Just hashtag Shawn Mendes on everything.
On everything, which was hilarious. Oh my God. What does that even mean? I'm so old. I don't even know what a Shawn Mendes is, but please don't explain it to me. What was her name? Her name was
Beth, was it?
Allison.
So, yeah, I mean, you could have left the goofy stuff to her.
Or even Beth.
Yeah.
The publicist. Or the book publisher, whatever. I haven't seen it in a while. Maybe we should watch it with the kids. Romancing the Stone, I remember. I loved a lot. I thought that was a really good movie. But
I remember liking it, but I honestly, I
don't remember. Yeah. But I'm sure if I saw it, I think I would still like it more than this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm going to give this film, I think it's a little bit better than average. If you're looking for some new entertainment, I think this checks all the boxes. Something light, something PG-13 that's not going to offend anyone. There is, I want to say those were CG'd buttocks. It looked weird the way it was that came out, that scene.
What, Channing Tatum's ass?
Yeah. Was that really his ass? I don't think so.
I don't think it was CG.
I don't know.
It could have been a stunt ass.
Stunt ass. I love it.
I don't think they're going to bust out the computers to generate
an
ass.
I don't know what's on his docket as far as nudity.
Maybe the leeches were fake.
I'm sure that was fake. But it just, the way that was filmed looked fake. So that's why I assumed it wasn't his derriere on the screen. So
I don't know.
I'm just saying, if anybody's sensitive to buttocks,
I didn't really analyze his ass too deeply, so it looked real to me.
There wasn't any cursing in this, was there?
I don't think so.
I don't remember. I don't remember an F word.
Yeah,
or anything like that. I think it's pretty clean as far as the script goes. What else? There's, I guess, to follow IMDb's leads, there's moments of peril, but it's not anything. Well, there's that scene with Jack Traynor, but it happens so quickly that.
Yeah, that was part of the whole thing of me saying I didn't know where they were going with certain things, because up until that point, any injuries or I guess killings were
off screen or whatever.
They were bloodless.
Yeah.
And then suddenly you have this genuinely gory bit, and I'm like, oh, they're going this way, and then it's no, that was it.
Yeah.
And it was just sort of that doesn't fit the rest of this movie.
Right.
So yeah, there was some tonal shifting
disparities.
That was I don't know.
I still would recommend this. I feel like if you haven't seen it and you're in the mood for something light, popcorny, quick, to give it a shot. Yeah. I'm going to give it, on a scale of 1 to 10, I would give it a 6.5, I think.
Okay.
I agree with you. I think the script could have been a little bit better. They could have gone a little bit more blue. I don't think it would have hurt anybody, but I guess they were really trying hard to maintain that PG-13.
Yeah.
Although...
Yeah,
my kids couldn't have given a crap about this movie. I think they came in and out during different parts of it, but they weren't really.
I don't think teenagers are going to go clamoring to see this.
Yeah,
it's not as though I don't know if any of them are really a draw for really young people. Like I said,
maybe it's Daniel Radcliffe, who's the youngest. People in their
30s and stuff.
And even he's older, right? 40s. He's got to be in his 30s now.
Yeah, I mean, all the people who watch Harry Potter, everybody's like, oh, dirty the goddamn millennials, thinking like they're like teenagers. They're like almost 40 now. It's they're grown-ups. They're adults.
Yeah.
They're aging out of the demographic rapidly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I'm sticking with a 5.
All right, I'm going to give it a 6.5. I would recommend it. Would you recommend it if somebody said to you, should I watch this?
If you like light romantic comedies with a bit of adventure, yeah.
And very clean.
This might be for you, yes. And plus it's very clean. If it appeals to you, you get to see Channing Tatum's butt. May or may not be CG, apparently.
I don't know.
You got the ILM.
Or it may or may not be Channing Tatum's butt. Sort of like the Lost Leonardo.
Oh, yeah. It could have been reconstructed by it was like some old lady. She's like 80% of that butt was restored by that woman. So anyway,
God, I love that movie. That movie was so nuts in it. Yeah. All right, we'll wrap it up. That is it from us, and we will bid you all a good night.